Hi, Mom. Heather. It's funny. Can you tell I just talked to my mom on the phone? This is Sister Blake. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a few pointers here on your essay. I'm reading through your little scenario of the first day, or the beginning of school, watching Animal Planet, eating cereal, going to school, talking to a friend at the locker, and then you say, this is a typical start of a day in the life of Hunter, a boy who was born with little to no hearing ability. So I just wanted to point this out because it's easier to do in a video. One of these boys or borns needs to be deleted. Of a boy who was born with, or of a boy born with little to no hearing ability. I really like that you then go on to talk about how this life is made possible by his cochlear implant, and without an implant his day would be very different. He thought, he would not be able to hear his favorite TV show, hear a car horn outside, talk with his friend Zach. Now you need a comma, his friend, comma, Zach, comma, or attend school at the local junior high without an interpreter. Children who are born with a severe to profound hearing loss and receive a cochlear implant have the best options in education, better social communication, and more opportunities in daily life. I just wanted to point out how I appreciate your thesis statement being clear and setting up your essay really well. So I think you did a really good job with that. And in your first paragraph here, I really got attached to your story. It brought up some questions, so I'm hoping you'll answer them in the rest of your essay. So further down, so you begin giving reasons for how good these cochlear implants can be, why parents might want to use them. You talk about the science teacher that may give instructions that require attention to be focused on hands-on activities. Just for emphasis, that hands-on activities is all one phrase. I would add dashes on either side of the on to connect. This is all one thing. Instead of reading lips or a translator, a child with an implant can be working on a lab and never look at the teacher giving instructions. They sit with peers at lunchtime, play at recess, and attend mainstream classes. Anyway, you talk about obtaining a college degree and how the implant can help that student. Very good. I like that you're transitioning from education in younger years to college, and then you talk about how this is just a really good transition. You talk about how education also extends outside of schools, and then you talk about life and learning in life. That was a really good transition. I think this quote you have here is really good. You talk about how children are learning 80% of what they know through incidental learning. This is really important because we do learn most of the things we learn through our senses. And without one of those senses, we're just not going to be able to develop the knowledge of just day-to-day living that we normally would. Right here with your quotation, you need to take this period and bring it to the end of your source citation to show that this citation goes with this quote rather than it going with the next sentence. Other than that, that looks really good. So I want to scroll down to where you talk about, let me find it. I found it. The opposing viewpoint. You say, some may say that a child has no choice at an early age and that such a big decision should be done later when they can have input. However, studies show that learning a language happens best in early childhood. It's a crucial time of development. An implant can be taken off and not used later if a child does not want to use the technology. The clock can never be turned backwards. Sorry, I keep yawning. Through and life cannot be started again. Missed opportunities cannot be reclaimed. So, here's what I'm wondering. What are the risks of the implant? Does it have any medical factors? Like, does it affect your brain? Can it get infected? What are the costs and all that? Because I would think that that would be part of the opposing viewpoint. and you really need to address those issues. Then I just wanted to say your conclusion is really good by going back to the story that you had at the beginning. You say the boy we talked about earlier just returned from a leadership training course as a staff member, a rare opportunity not given to all boys. This is interesting. It's not really given to all girls either. He led them in games, lessons, blah, blah, blah. And he talked about how this implant really affected his ability to be able to do that if he had had an interpreter. You say, although he could have used an interpreter, if he only knew sign language, you need a comma here, it would have limited his participation. And I think you're right. It's a great example to bring it back to how this implant is affecting this boy. Now, I would be really interested to have been given some research here about how many people use cochlear implants, how many doctors perform them in the U.S., how successful they are. Do they ever have to get readjusted, or does surgery ever have to be done again on the child as he grows into adulthood? Or what about as they age? What about when they're 40 or 50? I'd like to hear statistics about all that, and also just how many kids have them. And I'd be interested to know why someone doesn't have one. Maybe a quote about why someone doesn't have one, or someone who doesn't have one but wants one, a quote like that. Or anyway, just a little bit more researched information would have strengthened your argument, but as it stands, those personal touches you added with the example of the little boy, of the young teenager boy, was great. It really grabbed my attention. And thank you for citing your reference really properly. Okay, anyway, I'll end this. Thanks for writing, and then your grading point breakdown and the rubric is over there in the feedback box, so you can view it there too. Okay, see ya.